Hello my friends, you're listening to Ebird Online and I'm back with another review. And today, once more, we're going to talk about a lady who has quite some significant problems controlling her lusty inclinations. Yes, that's right guys. Finally, we're talking about Nikki and poor beleaguered Justin. This is 90 Day Fiancé Season 10, Episode 6. So guys, as per usual, Nikki is actually tap dancing on my nerves. No sooner has she finished chasing Justin around the bedroom, around the park, around wherever they might be, literally begging for sex, then she starts chatting all of her business to anyone who will listen. Guys, Nikki's been on her knees begging Justin to introduce her to all of his friends. And this week he relented and did so, and she started spilling the beans about her past life and Justin's innermost secrets. And guys, I haven't cringed as much, well, I don't know, since I saw, what's his name, Khloe Kardashian's ex-husband on Dancing with the Stars. I haven't cringed as much since then. Lamar Odom, that's it. I had to actually have a mental health break and walk away from the TV. We're going to look at that in more detail later, but just before we do, please don't forget to like and subscribe, all of that good stuff. Please don't forget to hit the notification bell, and if you enjoy the video, consider sharing it on your social media. Guys, it really does help my algorithm. Thanks guys. Right, so without further ado, I give you Nikki and Justin. So if you cast your mind back to last week, we remember Nikki was giving Justin an ultimatum. And she was saying, if you don't have sex with me in the next 48 hours, it's like literally the last time you'll ever see me. Oh, promises, promises. I'm just wondering to myself, where's the penalty? I'm not seeing it. And Nikki said, I've never been deprived of sex before in my life. Really? First time for everything. Anyway, then she decides to go low. Nikki's never very far from a guttural blow. And she socks Justin straight in the abdomen.
Well, what do you feel special? What is it special about me? That I support you financially? What is it?
I don't like when the Nikki talks about the money.
Oh guys, he doesn't like it when Nikki talks about the money. Or to put it better, when Nikki throws the fact that she pays for him in his face. And he doesn't like to talk about it. Well, unfortunately for you, Justin, Nikki wants to talk about it. Ergo, so does the Ebird. Well, according to Justin, Nikki sends so little money, and he tells her this as they walk along in the park. And according to Justin, it only covers petrol. Well guys, in fact, Americans, petrol in Europe is freaking expensive. If she covers his petrol every month, that's about £300 a month, maybe even more. That's quite a large sum, but Nikki seems to think that she does an awful lot more, and do you know what? I don't think she's lying. And she walks along clasping her hands and going, wow, 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 really? Really? So little money? Wow. Oh Lord. She's really not happy at all. But Justin's got a problem. He's got a puzzle, as it were. And as far as Justin's concerned, it's a qualitative problem.
How can you measure who does more?
Oh, how indeed. How can we measure? Well, Nikki can measure, and she's about to start. And she's going to use that old-fashioned method of cents and dollars. That, Justin, is how we're going to measure. Yes, Nikki's going to blow wide open the finance-sexual details of your relationship. Justin, you might want to ask Jesus to take the wheel at this point. As far as I can see, it's your only hope.
Really?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Are you serious? Your bills alone was $7,000. Come on, like don't say that I helped you very little. That's messed up, for real. That's aside from the Western Unions. And I'm not gonna get into it because you already know the numbers. I don't know why you're saying I helped you very little.
And guys, Nikki's absolutely apoplectic with rage. She told production, he knows how much I've helped him. All the Western Unions, oh my god, so much money. And I'm not the kind of person to post all the receipts. And guys, that statement alone tells me just one press of a button and all the receipts are on her laptop, ready to go to Radar Online, TMZ, and whoever else wants to know. She only needs to press send. So now Justin's on damage control. He just wants this conversation to just go the fuck away. And he tells her, as soon as I start work, I'll give you all the money back. And the couple storm through the park like a pair of enemies. And Justin tells her to calm down. He said, save all your power and your anger for our love. And she does, but only for a couple of seconds. And then she lets us know that hormones have a part to play in her ever so frequent blow-ups. And the truth be told, I'm not quite so sure that's true, because the one and only trans person who I can say I really know is the calmest, most chill person I've ever met. So, not really buying it, I'm afraid. Anyway, next time we see this couple, Nikki is laying seductively on Justin's bed, and she decides to FaceTime her mum. She lets her mum know of all the problems and the lack of sex. And guys, her mum knows her well, extremely well. She said, Nikki, instead of kicking off and being angry and being really argumentative, have you tried another tack? Have you tried being nice and polite and understanding? Nikki doesn't know what these concepts are.
How about if you change the way you behave toward him? Like, maybe be softer, be a little bit more patient. Find another way to speak to him, not yelling and screaming and exploding. You've even done that to me.
The problem is, Mum, she doesn't really want to. She enjoys screaming and shouting and hyperventilating, much like her little friend Ashley the witch. But finally, Nikki promises her mum she's going to try and calm down. And later on that evening, the couple go out for a meal. And so the couple sit down to have a chat over a lovely bowl of borscht. Justin announces his intention to take Nikki to the gym the following day. But he explained, I'm not going to take you to my gym, oh no. I'm going to take you to another gym, a gym where I don't really know anyone. But allegedly, and I heard this on the grapevine, it's amazing for people who are not from this country. Oh, Justin, you need a gym for people who are not of this world, never mind of this country. Anyway, Nikki clocks on real quick and she said, I think you're embarrassed of me. I think you don't want all your friends at the gym to talk. And Justin denied this, but guys, here's my theory. Let's think back to yesterday when Nikki was throwing all the things that she bought for him in his face. One of the things was gym membership. Now, when we first saw Justin, in a bygone era in fact, before we even knew he was Justin, when we thought he was just plain old Igor, he was working out in an outside gym. Remember, it was one of those free park gyms. Maybe he's been using Nikki's money for other things and not even attending a gym. That's just my theory. Anyway, Nikki decides to give him a little pep talk.
I changed who I was. I didn't care what anybody thought. I still to this day walk with my head held high. At the end of the day, people are going to say whatever they're going to say. They're going to think whatever they're going to think. You can't change people's minds in this world. But you got to be proud and confident of who you are or who you're in love with or who you're dating.
Guys, as much as I want to give that a round of applause and as much as I think she's absolutely right, I've just got to pull her up on, well, one or two little things. Guys, you may well be cheersing to that sentiment, but between the pair of you, you've got as many cosmetic procedures as the bloody Kardashians and the Jacksons put together. Be proud of who you are. Nikki is a perfect visual example of what happens when a narcissist has access to both money and plastic surgeons. You're a cute enough couple, yada yada yada. But please, spare me the be happy with whoever you are. I can unequivocally say that neither one of you were happy with who you were. And so the couple tuck into their steak. Guys, thank the Lord, I thought borscht was their dinner. I was going to hold my tongue, I was going to be polite, I wasn't going to say anything, but bloody hell. I thought no wonder the pair are unhappy, I bloody would be if that's all you had to eat. Anyway, suddenly Nikki says, we've been clocked. And she reckons a couple in the corner can tell she's trans. Maybe they can, maybe they can't. I think more than likely they're just shocked at her outward appearance. As Justin said last week, she looks like a transgender porn actress. And that's quite a shock for anybody to see, when it's not on the net of course. Anyway, so he could prove his love, Justin got up and theatrically kissed Nikki in the middle of the restaurant, with everyone looking on. Nikki looked very pleased, but guys, remember when Cleo broke the fourth wall and we realised there was 2 sound guys, 4 cameras, a gopher, a T-boy and a bootlicker in production? Well guys, it's got to be the same here. So everybody sitting in that restaurant at that point is watching this whole circus happen. So the fact that he stood up and kissed her means pretty much next to nothing. Anyway, the couple cheersed again and Nikki said, let's get out of here. I'm hungry. I want sex. Oh God, we're back at it again. Anyway, the next time we see this couple, and guys, the couple are in bed. Finally, Justin did the deed. And apparently they were at it all night. You guys, Nikki's so happy. She's just glad they finally got to connect. Oh no, she's not. Why would she be? Is she ever? No, she's not.
However, there's still some element that I'm missing from him. And he knows.
You should, man.
No, I do that. You don't do the opposite for me. He's still being a taker in bed.
Oh Lord, it goes to show Nikki's never ever happy. But Justin explains that he hasn't quite gotten used to the fact that Nikki used to be a man, and that's somewhat holding him back. Yeah, that's fair enough. And then she said to Justin, however much sex you give me, I always want more and more and more. I'm like a dog on heat. Guys, she's utterly relentless. And they bicker and argue back and forth, back and forth. And this must be draining Justin, because it's certainly draining me. Anyway, finally it's the night of the big reveal. And Justin's going to introduce Nikki to all of his friendship circle. Well, the ones that agreed to meet her, that is. And they all go to a bar for some drinks. When they arrive, everyone's super friendly and they all give each other big hugs. And production find out from one of the revelers what they think to the whole scenario. And Justin's friend said, I'm so surprised because he never brings any of his girlfriends around us. And then I'm doubly surprised because we're not used to trans people here in Moldova. But she does seem very beautiful and very friendly. And a giant pizza gets delivered to the table and everybody sits down to eat and chat. And so the friends inquired as to how the two met. And Justin said how they met, and then he said he had no idea she was trans until 2 years in, and everybody was quite shocked. But Nikki decided to take the floor and to clear up any questions or lingering doubts about her background.
I got to a place where I had to really struggle to survive. I was in the streets. I was homeless. I was hooked on drugs. I had to prostitute myself.
You're what?
Young lady, I think you'll find what is my line. And in fact also my sentiment. Guys, I couldn't believe this. Why are you sitting on the first time you've ever met anybody talking about homelessness and prostitution and sleeping with people for food and shelter? Now, I'm not saying it's not true, and I'm not saying that you shouldn't be open and real about who you are, but you don't need to be open and real about who you are immediately. Why don't you ease yourself in? Get to know people, ask them about themselves. Get on a level footing before you hit them with all of these bombshells. And Justin, for his part, says he doesn't mind Nikki gassing on about all her business and telling anyone who'll listen because he respects her past life. Yep, that's right, he does. He can't get it off his mind, especially when they're in bed. But I'm not so sure if that's how he really feels, or if that's just what he's saying for the cameras. I genuinely do think it's too much bloody information for the very first 5 minutes of the first meeting. And Justin said she did it because she needed to survive. And guys, I want to talk more about this at the end of the video. But suffice to say, I'm not exactly in agreement. Anyway, they talk about Nikki and how people in Moldova relate to transgender people apparently not well. Because according to his friends, the country is very family-oriented, traditional, conservative and religious. Well, it's nothing we didn't know, but it's going to be an uphill struggle, I can tell. But there are more bombshells to come from Nikki. She lets production know that she's going to turn into Inspector Gidget. I think she means Inspector Gadget. And she's going to find out all about Justin's previous love life and his lovemaking techniques. Yeah, Inspector Gadget's about right, because as I remember it, Inspector Gadget was a little bit of a buffoon. None of his gadgets really worked properly. And he made a meal of finding out who done it. And so Nikki stood up at the table and she said, can you come with me to the bar, to one of Justin's female friends? And off they went to go and get a drink and to have a natter. And guys, oh my god, Nikki really is a blunt tool. She pretty much stood at the bar and said, Justin doesn't like to have a lot of sex. Why are you talking about it to his friends? Better you go and tell random people or people that he doesn't know. Guys, this to me is just, it's beyond the pale. It's unfreaking believable. But then she went one step further and she asked his friends, do men in this region go, well, downtown? And she looked at Nikki with a sadness in her eyes and she said, well, yeah, of course they do. Oh, Lord. And poor Nikki looked crestfallen.
He would pleasure me down there before he knew, right? Before he knew I was trans, he would pleasure every single part of my body. He would do. Now, he will not me.
Did you speak about him, about this?
I spoke to him.
What he said?
Give me time. Give me time.
Well then, Nikki, there's your answer. Give him time. Previously, before he knew you were trans, things were different. When you find out information like that, things do change. From what I can see, he's trying, he's making an effort. So I think you should give him a little grace. Justin's friend was not much help. She said, that's not an answer. Yes, it is an answer. And in fact, it's the freaking truth. If the truth is not an answer, then what is? What are those things like mechanical bulls? That's what Nikki's like. She's just anywhere, rotting, jutting here, jutting there. No one knows what's going to happen next. All of a sudden, you're thrown off. Oh my lord, where'd they find this chaos of a bitch? But meanwhile outside, the guys are talking and they're saying rather too much as well. They're asking if Nikki's had all her operations done. Yes, she has. And they seem somewhat surprised by that. And it does seem to me as if Justin's barely mentioned anything about Nikki prior to this meeting. I would have thought that would have been one of the first questions that would have been asked. But maybe not. Maybe not everyone's as nosy as I am. And then Justin said that she has a voracious sexual appetite. And they said, what? Like a man? And he said, yes, just like a man. And then he said, she's not at all submissive. She's dominant in bed. And he doesn't like this because he wants to be the dominant one. Well, Justin, you might like to try paying your bills. I'm sure that helps. I'm reliably informed it does. But yeah, then he finished off by saying, she's very domineering. She's very dominating. When you look at her, she looks like a full woman. But when I start thinking about what she was before, well, it cools me off. And guys, therein lays the problem, I think. I don't know if that's going to be an insurmountable problem in these guys' relationship. I kind of think at this point it might be. And the final word this week goes to Justin. He's busy talking to producers about the problem.
It's hard to forget about she's trans, because sometimes she acting like man part, I don't know. Like controlling. It's not working in our relationship.
Yeah, guys, I think it's curtains for these two. And that's where we end things for this week. So what does the Ebird make from all of this? Well, when they first had a relationship, all those years ago, there were two massive problems which Nikki seems to conveniently overlook. The first one was, of course, that she was trans and she chose not to tell Justin of that information until they were in the middle of an argument 2 years down the line. However you slice it or dice it, that is some betrayal. That's a betrayal and a half. And the second thing is, she's always been dominant within this relationship, and I think now that Justin's a man and not a boy, it's more of a problem for him than it previously was. Now, I've spoken about this before. When they first met, I think he was about 19 and I think she was 35 or so. That is quite the age gap. And before anyone decides to get on my back and say, my parents have got a 15-year age gap and there's no problem, I'm not talking about everybody. I'm talking about this couple in particular. Obviously, age gaps are relative. So if somebody's, 50 and somebody's 65, that's less of a problem, of course, than if somebody is 18 and somebody's 33. That goes without saying. But when Nikki first met, Igor, before she baptised him Justin, she was a very wily, streetwise, and I really do mean for the streets wise, older woman who was seemingly quite shrewd and worldly. Justin, on the other hand, seemed quite naive and trusting and ultimately exploitable. Nikki wants things to go back 10 or 15 years to when Justin was a kid. Nikki, it's not going to happen. He's grown now, he knows what he wants, and, seemingly, this ain't it. Now, normally, I'm a little bit more compassionate than this. Not much more, but a little bit more compassionate. But I do think her general attitude, since she's been in Moldova, has been despicable. She's been begging and whining for sex. Then when he wouldn't do it, on camera, she tried to blow him up about all the money that she sent to him, and letting us know that she has receipts, and then telling his friends what he will and won't do in bed. And even though he's actually said to you, give me time, and you know the reason for it, you still decide to go and, just disseminate the information among his friendship group. And this tells me one thing: Nikki Exotica is extremely selfish. She's very selfish and very manipulative, and she wraps all of this up in, oh, poor me, I'm trans, my family rejected me. It wouldn't surprise me at all if they didn't mind her being trans, they just objected to her bloody personality. So yeah, I'm not particularly hopeful of this relationship, and I think really Nikki has nobody but herself to blame. But just one final thing, and it's kind of related to what I was just saying, this whole poor me thing. When she told everybody, I had to prostitute myself just to have somewhere to stay and to be able to eat for the night. I can't possibly know if that's true or if it isn't, but I tell you what is true. Nikki was a smoke show when she was younger. She was a very tall, very pretty, blonde girl. And I see absolutely no reason why she couldn't have walked to the nearest corner, walked into a McDonald's and got a bloody job. I think it's highly likely that she didn't want to do any kind of servile work. I think she wanted the big bucks that this can potentially bring in. And that's possibly why she sought out this particular industry as a career choice at that point. And now don't get me wrong, I'm not shaming sex workers or anything like that. But let's have it right. If you want to do it, just say, yeah, I did it because I wanted to do it. It's great money. But Nikki consistently wants to victimise herself. And she never ever thinks about anybody else's position. Anyway, guys, I'd love to know what you think. Yeah, there's so much to consider. Do you think this relationship's going to work? Do you think that Nikki's reasonable for telling Justin's friends intimate details about their sex life or even her backstory? And do you think, like I do, that however much sex Justin gives Nikki, it's never going to quite be enough? Guys, please put your comments down below. I love reading them, and I'm going to get on with my next video. Thank you so much for listening. You've been listening to Ebird Online. Oh gosh, I nearly forgot. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you've enjoyed the video. Smash the like button and please consider sharing on your social media. Thanks guys. You've been listening to Ebird Online and I bid you good day.
Baby, you give me ice and fire. You're giving me wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly. Whip up my appetite. Don't leave me